How's it going, y'all? Fan 920. Today we're back with some more MTG content. This time something a little bit different here. With Ikoria coming out pretty soon, I wanted to look at some cards I'm going to be interested in brewing around. Later this week, once the spoilers are kind of more fully out, we'll have 10 different deck lists we're looking at for Ikoria Standard, because that's coming up soon. Before we start, just a quick reminder, I will be streaming this on Twitch for the Early Access event. So April 15th, I think around 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time is when that's supposed to start. Last time there was like a 2-hour delay on that when we did it all, so that kind of time can change. But April 15th, don't forget, twitch.tv/TitansFan920. I will be there. Later in the day, I'll be editing videos, try to have some videos and new standard decks we try out on here. But what I wanted to do today was talk about some cards that I'm interested in brewing around from this first week and the first day of spoilers here. There's been a lot of interesting stuff come out, some really cool looking things in this set, and I'm pretty excited for it. I know a lot of other people are. So I figured we can go ahead, get to some honorable mentions real quick, talk about some cards that interest us, and then we'll get to the top 5. So for the first honorable mention here, we'll have Luca, Coppercoat Outcast, we'll have Fiend Artisan, and we'll have General Kudro of Draenith. These three cards are all different in their own way. We'll kind of glance over them real quick here. We talk about Luca. This is 3 mana, 5 mana, 3 and 2 red. The +1 here doesn't really matter to me too much. You can exile the top 3 cards of your library, creature cards exiled this way. You may cast this card from exile as long as you control Luca Planeswalker. That's great and all, but it's a +1 that doesn't really do anything, and when you're playing 5 mana for a card, I know it gets 6 loyalty, which is great, but that's a little bit expensive on my side. But that -2 is really interesting. I think it could be worth building around. When I was watching the SCG Star Cities Games live series, Ross Merriam had a Jeskai Planeswalkers deck that played this card in it, but it only had 1 creature in the deck, which was Enraged Forerunners. So -2 on this to guarantee you get something like Enraged Forerunners is very interesting. So I've kind of taken that idea and make a deck of it of my own, which you'll see later. But I really think there's some ways that -2 can be abusive. If you can plus this card and get it to the -7 there, that ultimate of each creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. That's pretty crazy and can probably end the game on itself as well. But that -2 will, I'm really interested in there. I really think there's some ways to abuse that. Fiend Artisan, it's a hybrid black and green, so it's 2 mana total for a 1/1. Fiend Artisan gets +1/+1 for each creature in your graveyard. You can pay X in a hybrid, tap it to sack another creature. When you do this, search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost to X or less, put it on the battlefield, and shuffle your library. Activate this ability only time you could a sorcery. So this is 2 mana 1/1 at first, which doesn't look very interesting, but obviously this thing can grow. Kind of like Tarmogoyf, it has some pod-like features and the ability that you can sack your creature and start searching for things. This is a card that looks like it could get out of hand really fast. I'm imagining things like Golgari Undergrowth and things like that we had back in Ravnica Standard can maybe make a comeback here with this. I'm not the kind of person that really plays those kind of decks a lot of times, but this card is really interesting. I can see somebody breaking it, just a matter of who does it and what. Anytime you have things like pod-like features, you can get things like Niv Mizzet and start doing things like that. It gets kind of crazy. So I think there's a lot of potential with this card. It's just one that I probably won't build around too much, but it is interesting. I wanted to kind of give that a shout out there. Lastly, General Kudro of Draenith is 1 white-black, so 3 mana for a 3/3 legendary creature, human soldier. Other humans you control get +1/+1. Whenever General Kudro of Draenith or another human enters the battlefield under your control, exile target card from the opponent's graveyard. Then you can pay 2, sacrifice 2 humans, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. So there's a lot to uncover here. Now first off, when this comes to tribal synergies, it's usually not my thing. I always get excited about them. They never really end up working out too well. But General Kudro's got a lot of things going for it here. Being able to buff all your different humans, whether it be in Standard, Pioneer, whatever it is. We're mostly talking about Standard here. There's actually quite a few different humans here. One thing that's important here is Hero Precinct 1 makes human tokens, so I think Hero is going to be a pretty big player in this next standard because quite a few cards I've seen that synergize really well with it. When it enters the battlefield or another human enters the battlefield, you get to exile a target card from the opponent's graveyard. I think you all play Standard enough to know that things like Euro, things like Woe Strider in the graveyards get really out of hand, so being able to exile those kind of things is pretty important here. So being able to do that just kind of at will seems really, really powerful. And then just sacking 2 humans, like I said, if you're playing Hero Precinct 1, getting 2 humans as sacrifice is a breeze. To paying 2 mana just to destroy a target creature power 4 or greater, that sounds devastating. So I'm not sure. I've got 1 brew with this. I kind of got like an Abzan human list I'm working on, which I'll have a video up again this week. So if you want to watch that, you can watch it. But I think somebody else will break this more than I will. Anyway, that's my honorable mentions there. Let's get to the actual top 5. So number 5 on the list here is Shark Typhoon. This is Sharknado, got a card. Never thought you'd see that day. But this is 5 and a blue, so 6 mana for an enchantment. Blue's always going to have their expensive enchantments to do weird things. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create an XX blue shark creature token with flying, where X of that spell is converted mana cost. So if you get this down and you're playing a control kind of matchup, all of a sudden all your non-creature spells, you play a 5 mana to fairy, you know, back in the day. You're playing one of the best cards in standard, and then you get a 5/5 flyer all of a sudden. That's kind of insane. Cycling's back in the set, so you also have cycling for 1 and a blue and X. When you cycle Shark Typhoon, create an XX blue shark creature token with flying. So even if this is kind of late game or early game, and maybe you just don't need this end of turn, you pay 3 to cycle this, and you're still making a 1/1 flyer just to kind of chunk block and hold the line down. But if you get to a point where you get this down, and it's not legendary, so these can kind of stack, all of a sudden, you're playing Bant, for instance. You played Elspeth Conquers Death. You're making a 5/5. This seems like it could go out of hand really quickly, and this actually be a pretty legit win condition for control. So even though I'm not a huge control player anymore, I do think Shark Typhoon is very interesting and see some play. So I already got a build kind of going around this right now. I won't talk about it too much. We'll talk about that in the actual video where we do the decks. But I think Shark Typhoon can really surprise some people and is more than just a meme. And that's saying a lot for a card that is made after Sharknado. Number 4 here, we'll talk about Sprite Dragon. We have the alternate art here, which is Dorat, the perfect pet. Blue and reds is the colors for a creature, fairy dragon, flying haste 1/1. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a 1/1 counter on Sprite Dragon. This card's really interesting because, you know, at first I started thinking about is it flash and things like that, but I don't think flash is really where you want to go at with this kind of card. This kind of seems like an is it spells deck. So back in the day when we had like the blue-red, we had Monastery Swift Spear, we had, what was the blue-red flying person with prowess? You know, we had that too. But this seems like a version of this could potentially be better. I can see this still going in some flash stuff. Like the deck I've got kind of working on my own right now has some flash energies. But I'm imagining you're playing things like Shock, you're playing things like Opt, and you're really just trying to maximize the amount of spells you can play, get this down, start growing into this hard-to-defeat threat, and you're still just kind of burning them and poking them along as you go here. These kind of strategies can kind of just kill you out of nowhere, and they're usually pretty good about producing card advantage in cheap ways. So this is one to keep my eye on. It's a very fun card. That art, it's adorable. How could you not like that art? But I think Dorat, you know, Sprite Dragon is going to be something interesting, and people are going to like playing with this one. So I've got a brew working around this. It seems like it's really fun on paper. I'm really ready to get it down and play it in the early access event. So that's Sprite Dragon coming in number 4. Let's look at number 3. Number 3 here we have Nethroi, Apex of Death. I think that's how you say that. Nethroi is 2 white, black, green. So we got some Abzan colors there. 5 mana total for a 5/5 Death Touch and Lifelink critter. So kind of similar to Yarok, just with a little bit bigger power there, which is nice. Whenever this creature mutates, return any number of target creatures with total power 10 or less to the graveyard to the battlefield. That's the part we care about here. 5 mana, the 5 mana 5/5 Death Touch Lifelink, cool. Don't really care about that too much. But if you mutate it for 4 and a hybrid color and then 2 black, so again, you're stuck in Abzan colors with this, though you could be really reading of 4 colors if you wanted to. That bottom line of text is pretty insane. And I think the big thing there is its total power 10 or less, not converted mana cost. So you could potentially be getting things like, and especially in Abzan, you have Tristani, which is a 5 mana card, but it just has 2 powers. Comes with a lot of other creatures and everything, but that's just 2 of your 10 power just to grab Tristani, which is pretty powerful on its own. I really think there's ways that you can build a deck like this where you get a lot of stuff in the graveyard, whether you put them there yourself or they've been killed by removal or whatever, and this just comes in and mutates on something, and all of a sudden you just exploded a bunch of value on the board they can't keep up with. I speak of that splashing blue on there if you want to get greedy, because Agent of Treachery is only 2 power. That seems like a pretty good thing to get back for that kind of mana cost there. So somebody's going to break this card. And like, there's just too much going on with this card for it to not be somehow busted. It's just a matter of who does it first. I've got some ideas. I'm working with something with this right now, and I hope it works out okay. I'm not going to say it's going to, but this seems interesting to me, and I think it's really going to have a shot to surprise some people. So watch out for Nethra, whatever its name is. Powerful card. Going to do some powerful things in Standard. I'm excited for it. Number 2 here, we have Luminous Brood Moth, aka Mothra. 4 and 2 white for a flying insect. It's a flying 3/4 for 4, which is already okay stats. It can block, you know, now you got your Rankles trying to come in. This blocks it really nicely. It blocks a Brazen Borrower, all that kind of stuff. So 2 and double white, flying. Whenever a creature you control without flying dies, return to the battlefield under its owner's control with a flying counter on it. We had Nightmare Shepherd last standard, which was a good thing. When something died, you could bring it back as a token. This pairs up really well with it. This goes in some of the same kind of decks that would go in. And this is really good about both abusing ETB triggers or just making your board really versatile and strong anyways. Note that it says creature you control, not non-token. So you could even have a token creature come back, if I'm reading that correctly anyways, with a flying counter. So this just kind of lets you commit to a board really hard. You don't even have to do anything cute with this card, I don't think. And I think that's why it's so strong. You just make a big go wide creature deck. If somebody has a board wipe for it, you don't care because you're getting all of them back anyway. So I think this is a card. There's going to be a lot of different ways of building this, and that's what's exciting about it. Whether you want to go and abuse the ETB triggers for the creatures to come back when they trigger, or if you just want to go wide and make a big board and do your thing there. Luminous Brood has a lot of versatility to it and a lot of power. The card just seems like it's too good to not see play. So again, something I'm going to brew with. I can't wait to see what you all come up with. Let's go look at number 1. Number 1 was spoiled today. It's Monday. We're making this video. This is Sea-Dasher Octopus. For anyone who's watched my videos, I have 2 things I like. I like Brew and I like Simic Flash. And with my Simic Flash here, this seems like it's going to go fantastic in it. So it's a Sea-Dasher Octopus. It's 1 and double blue for a 2/2 flash. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So you can flash this in for 3 mana, but the important thing here is it's only 2 mana to mutate. That's the cheapest mutate thing we've seen so far, which for one is interesting. But in Flash, this just seems disgusting. You start off with a Spectral Sailor on 1. Everybody wants to play Banner Soul Tie. They're playing a Temple on turn 1. Turn 2, you don't even flash this. You just play this, mutate your Spectral Sailor, and all of a sudden you've just got your Curious Obsession kind of thing going. Later on, you can just mutate in anything that's a little bit bigger. Draw a card whenever you're dealing combat damage. Seems kind of disgusting. Simic Flash has got a lot of toys lately, actually. So between that and Mono Blue Tempo, I think both those decks are going to get a pretty big shot in the arm and have a chance to compete. But this card is going to see play not just in Flash decks. That effect is more powerful than y'all probably realize. So trust me when I say I think this card is going to be a big player in Standard, and it's not just going to be in Flash decks. Like, however good you think this card is, it's probably a little better than you think. But overall, these are the 5 cards I'm looking forward to brewing most in Ikoria Standard. Once again, April 15th, we'll be playing on twitch.tv/TitansFan920. So come and join us there. I'll have some decks going on. Later this week, I'll have some a video going on with, I think, 10 different decks that I'm brewing up in Standard. So I've already got my brewing cap on. I wish they'd show us the lands so we can get that, but soon enough. Thanks y'all for watching. I know this is a little bit different than what we usually do, so hopefully you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.